Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. I was a bit in my mind. I had it that I had to do the
Morning, everybody. Sorry about that technical issues. And on top of that, I thought I was doing my quietly reading series, but no, I'm here to talk to you guys about a movie. In particular, I'm here to talk to you guys about the movie uh, The Net, starring Sandra Bullock. So I'll continue with the idea where I'm not going to, go through a whole like review of the movie, like actually explain the whole plot line of it and so forth. Uh, I will show you guys the Wikipedia page of it, just so that you guys have a general idea of it. Okay, but I don't want to get too much into the whole idea that it's not really about you know giving you guys a whole plot synopsis. I really want to use this as a talking point on my continued theme of privacy and the internet. And I just found that this movie was really a good, talking point, a good, on that idea. All right, so here we are. So we're going to go share the screen and continue our conversation about privacy and the internet. So obviously today I'm specifically talking about the movie The Net. Okay, um, it is like I said a movie that's starring Sandra Bullock. Okay, came out in 1995, so it's a very old movie, good like 20, 30 years old. So it's definitely a much younger Sandra Bullock in it. As you can see, it was directed by Ern Winkler, and yeah, it was done in the net. So it is an action thriller. So it is, a little bit off of my usual sci-fi horror movie topic. But I felt like I said because the last two or three videos, I really wanted to talk about, um, talk about privacy and the internet, and should people divulge other people's life stories and secrets and so forth. I felt that this was a good one. So as you can see in here, Sandra Bullock plays Angela Bennett, who is a systems analyst. She discovers essentially some really shady things that are going on, and she has with a particular company, and she has the capacity to actually divulge that to the public that this company is shady, and she can cost them their company essentially because she can prove that the company has a system where they can basically go into people's computers and give that computer a virus, right? And they basically want to cause trouble for people with that. Now, what happens is that the company finds out that she has that proof, and they set to destroy her life. So they literally take over her life and give her a new identity to the point where if she wants to return to her country, she has to take on a new name, okay, a new identity. So when she tries to go back to her home, to her job, it's all gone. Now, the reason why this doesn't sound like, well, how is this related to privacy and the internet, is the reason why it's so easy for these people to take over her life is because she's such a very private person. She rarely goes out, rarely talks to her neighbors. She does not work on site for her job. She works, at home on her computer all day, every day. And don't forget, this movie is set in the mid '90s, right? So things like video chatting, like WhatsApp, and all this, Facebook, all this social media stuff isn't around. Yeah, you have chat rooms, but in a chat room, unless I share a photo of me, you're not going to know who I am. You're not going to know what I look like. You can't even be sure that I am who I am, that I am what I say I am, right? There's no concrete proof of my ID. Even the photo I give you could be a photo of somebody else, right? So by being very, very private, by staying in her world, right, the bad guys are able to take over her life and kind of, you know, make sure that she's not in a position to be able to reveal their secrets. Now, of course, by the end of the movie, she does manage to do just that, and is able to regain her identity and go back to quote unquote normal life. Now you do see at the end of the movie she's a little excuse me, a little bit more social and does talk to people and her neighbors and all that. But at the end of the day, it was a lot. Okay, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this movie. So I'm just going to stop the share here. So yeah, so I found that this movie was, even though it's 1995, it's still very a good talking point for today, because for us, so many of us go on the internet, right? Go on the net, right? And share everything about our lives. And I did a quick calculation. The movie's 27 years old, so almost 30 years old, this one. So even after 27 years, this movie is very poignant and is still thematic, still on point. There's so many of us that are out here uh, living a very, how should I put it, a very private public life. Like here I am, I've revealed my face a couple of times, but overall not at all, right? I've revealed my face maybe two, three times, five times extreme maximum, right? I don't use my real name on my screen yet. Most of you know where I live. Most of you know I'm Canadian, right? Most of you know, hey, she stole my son who likes horror movies. She likes sci-fi movies. She reads books. There's a lot of my private life that is on the internet that I mean, if anybody had ill will towards me, could use it against me. Could use to, hey, I saw her snow walk, so hey, maybe she lives in this part of town. Maybe she, you know what I mean? And they could use that to either, hey, if you don't cooperate, we're gonna tell the whole world your exact address. We're gonna tell them your face. We're gonna show them your face, just to say. We're gonna show them your birthday, your address, all of that. They could technically dox me if they really had ill will, right? And that's kind of what happens in for Sandra Bullock's. You know, they used her life, and because she was so secretive and so like in her own bubble, um, you know, sh- she wasn't able to recuperate. It took an extreme measure for her to get back to her life and really be able to say, no, this is me, this is who I am, and not this other woman, right? Think about when your credit card gets hacked and people are now charging a few hundred to a few thousands of dollars on your credit card. You can't just say, oh, those are fake charges, right? It's no, you actually have to go and prove that you did not make those charges, right? Now, of course, credit card companies, do have a certain amount of measures where, okay, she stole my thunder is Canadian, so most of her charges are in Canada, and now all of a sudden we have 20 charges all the way from, I don't know, from Malaysia or something, right? Wait a minute, that's not normal. Like she's in Canada right now. Like, how could she be doing making charges on a credit card all the way in Malaysia, right? So they do have a certain amount of defenses to make sure that, because especially for a credit card, if if they can, if a client can prove that a charge was fraudulent, that company is now out that amount of dollars, right? they now even if it's just $100, that's $100 less in their pockets, right? And we know credit card companies want money, they want profit, right? So you really have to, they really take, great care to make sure that uh, fraudulent charges have the least amount of chances of actually occurring. Not to say they can guarantee that they're never going to happen, but they want to make sure that they don't happen very often, right? To the point where they might even disable your card if they feel that, oh, wait a minute, there's something here going on, right? So, and that's kind of why, like I said, I wanted to talk about this movie because it felt like, there's a lot of different things about the movie, even though it was set in 1995, are really poignant to this day, right? So here you have this woman, like I said, that's very private, that her sense of privacy was used against her, right? The other element, like I said, is the fact that she put some of her life out there on the computer, right? Uh, Not everything, but she put just enough where they knew where she worked, they knew her real name, they knew where she lived, uh, they knew her citizenship, right? They knew just enough. So when they intentionally sent somebody to pretend to be in love with her, while she was on vacation, I believe. And that's when they like, okay, does she have this? I think it was a USB key where she had the secrets for the company. Um, they tried to like steal the bag so they can get the USB key. The guy, of course, ended up being part of the plot, but and that's to that extent where people are willing to use your life against you and use and like they saw that, okay, well, she must be lonely, she must be you know uh, a difficult woman to persuade to give up on something, so they had to trick her into you know getting what they wanted. Like, okay, if we can't get the USB key, let's at least destroy her life. Let's at least put her in a position where she can't rat us out, right? That nobody's going to take her at her word, nobody's going to believe her, right? Because as her character, she's a well-known and well-respected person in her field. But once she was given the other identity, she's just a random woman who's going to believe her, right? So, that's kind of what's important when you're putting your life out there on YouTube, right? You don't know who's going to handle that information about you. You don't know what kind of intentions they have, right? You have a few people that will use your life against you and say, well, because this person did this in their past, they did that in their past, they have this, they have that reputation, don't trust them, don't believe them, right? Don't take them at their word, right? Or, okay, they can't be taken seriously, or we have to disregard what they said because, oh well, that person has XYZ in their background, right? um, and I know I'm harping about this a little bit, but that's kind of what happened with Mr. Real Estate, right? It was divulged by somebody else that he has been accused of a crime, right? And he did admit it, so that's why I feel comfortable saying this. Okay, he did admit it. People now use that against him, and even though he was just simply out there saying, "Hey, I want to criticize what this person said," now everybody's scrambling and like, "Oh well, he Mr. Real Estate doesn't have clean hands. He's this is what happened here. This is what happened there. Blah 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 blah." That's like, well, wait a minute. Just because you have some shady things in your past doesn't mean you're not justified in criticizing others, right? Now, for me, there's a certain amount of things where I get that we want to keep some things to ourselves. And that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about later on tonight. I do have another live tonight where I admit there's lots of things about my past where I wouldn't want everybody to know about it, right? I wouldn't want it to be something also that's held against me as a justification. Well, we're not going to listen to She Stole My Thunder because, oh, well, she did that in her past, or she did this, or she did that, right? And that's, the tricky thing with wanting to keep our privacy on the internet. So even though, okay, I'm I mean, I'm technically a public figure, but I'm not a public figure in the sense of I'm out there and a million people know me, right? I think I'm now finally over 500 people on 500 subscribers. But I mean, it's like, look, that technically, like I said, makes me a public figure. But like I said, it's like 528 subscribers out of what the 8 billion people on the planet. You know, like that's not a lot of people that know me, obviously. But I'm definitely not trying to say that as like, oh, I'm so famous or something. But at the end of the day, I'm putting myself out there, and any one of the 520 people could have ill wills against me. I don't know. Like I don't know all of you guys. You guys know more about me than I do know about you guys, right? For the most part, with a few exceptions, right? So, it's kind of important that when you put yourself out there, you do have to be mindful about what people will do with the information, but I've also noticed too that when when you don't talk about something, especially something as important as a criminal record or criminal accusation, people will look at you differently, right? People, especially I've noticed for women, we tend to respect people when they're honest and they're authentic and direct and open about their lives. And you know, to me, I would have preferred if Mr. Real Estate had come out on the first video and said, "Hey, look, you know what? This is my life. This is what I've done. This is where I've been." And then that way, he could have avoided a lot, but it wouldn't have, obviously would not have guaranteed that people, wouldn't have used it against him, obviously. But again, I understand, like, like for most of you guys, I'm just an icon on the screen most of the time, right? So I get that Mr. Real Estate, of course, did not want to come out here and say, and hey, by the way, guys, like how do you work that into, most conversations, right? So I get it that like there's some things that you do want to keep secret, that you do want to keep to yourself. But here on the internet, and that's kind of going to be my topic on my life tonight, is what can we really expect when it comes to privacy on the internet, right? How much privacy can we really expect when you're on the internet as a content creator, right? Um, you know, can it really be something you can expect? Can you expect privacy on the internet? Is this something that truly, works on the internet, right? Now, I won't go into the, legality of it because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, a paralegal. I don't have any kind of expertise or training in that field. So I'm really just going to talk about, my personal opinion on the matter. Now, I will give some definitions of privacy and, okay, some examples of what legally you can expect as far as privacy is concerned here in Canada. But like I said, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a paralegal, so don't look at it. Oh well, well she told my son said this, so it must be no. It's really I'm giving you guys my personal opinion and my personal thought on the matter. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I want to say about the net and how it is important to uh, be aware that there's some privacy that is necessary, but that if you go public with your information, regardless of what information that is, to be mindful that even when you are public and open about it, that there's going to be individuals that are waiting to pounce on that opportunity and potentially maybe use it against you, maybe not, who knows, right? But we'll see. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. I will see you guys hopefully later tonight for a little late night talk, random. Hey, let's talk about privacy together, guys. I don't have a formal panel, but if you guys want to be part of it, you're more than welcome to join the conversation, guys. It is open to the public as usual, and hopefully, I will see you guys then. So have a great day, guys. I hope your Saturday is wonderful. Bye.